Presented by FPL, working for you every single day.
Flip from the best time of your life to a life or death situation.
Another year of reflecting on the night that changed Orlando.
And we do still have a lot of questions.
Nearly a decade's worth of questions still remain for those who lost loved ones in the Pulse nightclub attack.
We've heard them, we've listened to them, and they've said very clearly, we want to see it for one last time before it's gone.
For the first time, survivors and victims' families are going inside the Pulse nightclub to see where the 49 angels took their last breaths. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Tammy Fields.
And I'm Curtis McLeod. For the past 9 years, it's been a journey full of grief and questions for those injured and those who lost loved ones in the Pulse nightclub attack.
As we mark the date of the shooting this week, we're looking at where things stand when it comes to honoring the 49 angels, the survivors, and supporting their families.
There's a memorial on the way, which has been a years-long process, and now preparations are underway to demolish the Pulse site to make room for that memorial.
Before we get to that, we want to continue our coverage this hour by taking a look at your weather on the ones.
We had showers and storms fire up throughout our Wednesday afternoon once again, but the East Coast sea breeze moving a little bit faster and the collision between the two closer to the Gulf Coast. That's where we had some heavier showers and a few stronger storms. And as we look ahead to our Thursday, once again starting out quiet with plenty of sunshine, and then we do have that chance once again through the afternoon and evening hours for scattered showers and storms as highs climb back into the low 90s.
The range of emotions is very wide. Some people will get here and won't be able to go in. Some people will stay outside. Some people may not get off the bus. We're prepared for anything and everything.
An emotional week for survivors and families of those who died in the Pulse nightclub attack. Thursday marks 9 years since a gunman opened fire inside.
An emotional week indeed, Tammy. 49 people were killed, 58 others injured. Now the survivors and victims' families have the chance, if they choose to do so, to go inside and see the Pulse nightclub up close and personal one last time. I'm here at Pulse, where the first groups actually went inside of the club today. We had the chance to speak to those who were willing to chat with us afterwards.
The families and survivors also spoke with FBI agents about how they're wrapping up their investigation into the shooting.
Right now, we want to go ahead and bring in our Brandon Spencer. I know, Brandon, you had the opportunity to speak with people before and after they had the opportunity to visit the nightclub site here. What did they have to say to you? I imagine they had a mix of emotions.
Well, prior to visiting Pulse, there was a sense of uncertainty and nervousness because they really just didn't know what to expect. But hearing from people after the visit, there was heartbreak, giving way to hope for answers. 9 years. That's how long it's been since 49 people were killed and more than 50 others were injured in the Pulse nightclub shooting, an event that has left a lasting impact on Central Florida and everyone involved.
So what happens over time when you don't have answers to questions, when you don't have a full picture or explanation, is it festers. It just stays there and it grows.
A feeling Christine Leinen knows all too well. After an FBI briefing on Wednesday, she still has questions about why the investigation will be closed.
This is nowhere near a closeout situation, and they came out right out of the jump street saying, we're closing it out. All we need to do is we got all these pieces of victims' items that we need to dispose of. So once we get those disposed of, it's a done deal.
But even still, Leinen felt she needed to check out the place that her son Chris was last alive.
It's very heartbreaking to know that my son took his last breath right there within that small space.
Others, like Patience Murray with her husband Alex by her side, still remember the details of trying to escape the shooter.
Making it out of the club was something that I didn't even anticipate on doing, but I saw Akira, his sister, running over to me, and I realized we were outside because the sky was behind her hair. And at the time, my friend and his cousin was still inside the club, so we had to go back inside to go get her.
Patience ended up getting stuck inside a bathroom for 3 hours where she was shot in the leg. Her friend and her husband's sister, Akira, lost her life. And while putting themselves in a place of terror and pain is tough, both Patience and Linen felt they needed to see things through in order to move forward.
I would have regretted it if I didn't go through it, and I needed to see where my son took his last breath. It's as simple as that, and as painful as it is, it's nowhere near as painful as what my son experienced that night.
If you're not moving forward, you're staying stuck, and staying stuck is death. That's what it is. And you can't die to this. You gotta keep living.
With the nightclub set to be demolished, Patience and Linen knew that this would be their only chance to be able to face this tragedy head on, and they both hope that this memorial properly honors those impacted that fateful night 9 years ago. Reporting live in Orlando, Brandon Spencer, Special News.
Thank you, Brandon. City leaders, they have been planning for the demolition of the former Pulse building later this year. It will be removed in preparation for the construction of a new permanent memorial. You can see the rendering right here. After a months-long process, the city approved the project. Now they're working on the construction contracts. In October, Osceola County is planning a groundbreaking for its Pulse memorial. It's titled Wings of the Rainbow. County leaders said they postponed that event from this week so that victims' families and survivors would not have to choose between their event and this week's remembrance ceremonies.
All right, on Thursday, the Orlando community will take time to pause and reflect on those who were taken and impacted during the attack. Now, a blood drive is planned outside of Orlando City Hall. We know One Blood will be accepting blood donations from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, another time at 5:30 p.m., the annual remembrance ceremony will take place at First United Methodist Church. That's located at 142 East Jackson Street. That's in downtown Orlando. The event is meant to honor the victims, their families, survivors, and all who were affected by this tragedy, including first responders. It will include the reading of victims' names and also musical performances. We're going to bring you that ceremony live right here as it happens on Spectrum News 13. Now, you will also be able to see the familiar prayer ribbons outside of City Hall. They pay tribute to the victims and survivors. The ribbons were installed on Monday and will remain on display through June 16th. All right, don't go anywhere. Our coverage of this week's remembrance events continues as the Pulse nightclub survivors and the victims' families go inside the club for the very first time.
We're also tracking other news for you tonight. What options are left for Silver Airways passengers after all of the flights are grounded and canceled? Keep it here.